Hi, I'm Emily Turner from the City of Kawartha Lakes Economic Development. Thanks for joining us for some highlights from our local history research held tonight in Bobcaygeon. We've got special guests from Kawartha Lakes Museum and Archives, Trent University, and the Kawartha Lakes Public Library. Hope you enjoy. So what we're going to talk about is this is really an introductory research workshop. So it's how to get started, where to look, what kind of things to look for when you're trying to do local history research in your own community or other communities that you're interested in. I'll touch base on our city resources, and then we also have three great local partners, the Kawartha Lakes Public Library, Trent University, and the Kawartha Lakes Museum and Archives. They're going to speak to you as well about their resources, how to go there, how to access their resources, so you've got a few places to start once you get out there and do some of the research that you want to do. We at the city, we've got three history and heritage staff. There's myself, so I deal with mostly buildings, archaeology, built heritage outside. We have Laura Love, and she is our city curator, so she deals with our artifact collection. She does exhibits for the city. And then we also have Angela Fornelli, who is our manager of corporate records and archives. So she is our archivist at the city and deals with the various archives that we have. So all three of us are here to help you with your research topic. So if you are interested in any of our programs, please reach out and we'll do what we can to help you on the project that you're working on. So where to look for information? Once again, this is also a huge list of different sources that you can look at. And we're going to touch on some of these tonight. We're going to look at some specifics, some specific places to look, and some resources you can access. So local archives are a really great source. We've got quite a few of those in Kawartha Lakes. The library, also a fantastic resource. We have several local historical societies in Kawartha Lakes, and they have many people involved in them who are very knowledgeable about local history research. They know where to look for things. They know a lot about their communities to begin with, so they're a great resource. We also have lots of local history books that have been written over the years about Kawartha Lakes, some better than others. There's also regional history books, and these range from more amateur type books to academic books that you could find at university libraries and have been written by academics, and also local residents. So we have a very long-standing population in Kawartha Lakes, and there's a lot of people who know a lot about the history of Kawartha Lakes. So I always encourage people to go and talk to local residents about what they know. I'm going to touch on our City of Kawartha Lakes archives. So it's located in Lindsay at 31 Mary Street East. It is by appointment only, so you need to reach out to Angela Fornelli, who's our archivist, to make that appointment. So her email is there, or history@kawarthalakes.ca is the other one, as well as her phone number. So that's the kind of nondescript building in Lindsay, where our archives are located. So what we have at the Records and Archives Vault are the physical records of the City of Kawartha Lakes, physical records from our 16 predecessor municipalities in the County of Victoria, and it's an environmentally controlled repository. It's the only one in Kawartha Lakes at the moment. This is our lovely Archives Vault tour, and it gives you an idea of the amount of stuff that is in an archive, and specifically in our municipal archive. So you can see there's boxes and boxes of stuff in here. Some of it is larger than others, especially things like maps or oversized documents. So this is why we ask you to make an appointment in advance. What we have in terms of our available records at the city are municipal records specifically, so that's bylaws, council minutes, agendas, reports. So if you're looking for anything related to municipal governments, this is your first stop. We also have assessment and collector roles, the LACAC records. So the LACAC is the Lindsay Architectural Conservation Advisory Committee, which existed in the 90s and the 80s mostly, and they did a lot of local history research. So they just have files and files of stuff there. Some of it is very helpful and some of it is less helpful, but you kind of have to paw through it. We also have school registers from various schools, both rural and urban, throughout Kawartha Lakes, and some original deeds and land grants for different pieces of property. That's a bit of a hit and miss one, but sometimes you can find them. We also have maps, plans, and drawings of historic buildings, especially ones that are owned by the city. We have birth, marriage, and death records, and vital statistics, voters list, census records, and correspondence. There is a huge amount of stuff. So if there's something that you're interested in, reaching out to Angela is the best first step, because she'll be able to have a look at our finding aid, see what we have, and help you wade through the huge amount of stuff that the city has in their archives.
Hi everyone, thank you for having me here tonight. My name is Jacqueline Chartier and I'm the Outreach Specialist for the Kawartha Lakes Public Library. I'm thrilled to be here tonight to briefly chat about the Kawartha Lakes Public Library and how we can support you with your research and your genealogy needs. So let's get started. So we have 14 different branches throughout the city of Kawartha Lakes. Most of our library branches do have a small local history collection, but the largest collection is going to be at our Lindsay branch, and that's going to be on the second floor of our reference department. So I invite you to contact the reference department if you want to use any of these technologies in order to book this in advance, just that way that you're sure it's available when you come to the library branch all the way to Lindsay, and that way you have your time. But all of this is going to be free when you come to the library to use. So we have various online resources that you can explore. However, it's important to note that some of these resources can only be used in the library, and then some of them can be accessed at home. So firstly, we have our ancestry.ca, which was mentioned previously. And here you're going to find records from around the world. So our edition of Ancestry has to be used inside the library branch and can't be accessed from home. We also have our digital archives, and this is a great resource for local images, newspapers, and you can access our digital archives through our library website at home. So at the library, we offer one-on-one half-an-hour training sessions. And we can do this to help you learn how to use a computer, a mobile device. So this could be a smartphone or a tablet. So these sessions are free and staff can help assist you in any direction that you would like. However, our 1 hour sessions are always free, but you want to call in advance in order to book your spot. You also have the option to purchase images from our archives. The Kawartha Lakes Public Library is able to provide digital copies of our archived photos and images for a specific fee. So keep that in mind if you see something that you would like for your specific collection. Lastly is genealogy presentations. So if you're part of a group or an organization that would benefit from a more in-depth presentation on genealogy research and our resources, along with some tips and tricks, our reference specialist would be able to provide that for you. These presentations can cater a bit towards your specific needs, but generally covers the following topics, such as getting started with ancestry charts, research strategies, how to organize and preserve your documents, and how to find and use good research sources, as well as what library resources are available to you. If you have any further questions about anything that I've chatted about this evening and would like to access the collection, take advantage of any of our one-on-one tech sessions using the machines, I strongly suggest you write down this information. Our reference department is a fantastic resource for you to use within our community, and I say you take advantage of all the free resources that we have. And that is all for me. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, it's often the case, so it's always my first message.
Hi everybody, thank you for coming, and thanks to Emily for inviting me to be part of this event. It's really encouraging to see people excited about local history and wanting to learn more. So my name is Karen Surtam, and I'm the University Archivist and Head of Special Collections at Trent University. So my goal today was just to talk a little bit about the Trent University Archives, the kinds of things that we have that might be of interest to folks interested in the history of this region, and then talk about how you can search our holdings and then access them. So we've been around since 1969. We opened when the university was just 5 years old. And the Trent University Archives has a bit of a complex mandate. Like all university archives, one of our responsibilities is to document Trent University, of course, because they're our sponsoring body. But we also have a mandate to document local history. And that includes the Trent Valley region, Peterborough County, Victoria County, Haliburton, Hastings, and Northumberland and Durham. So if you're looking for that Manvers stuff, we might have it too. and also to support university research and teaching. So we also have other collections that are even beyond that scope. For example, I'm about to take in some amazing teaching stereographs. I don't know if you're familiar with stereographs, 2 photographs side by side. You look at them through a viewer, they kind of like 3D, used for anatomy, for example, because people that are interested in the history of science and the history of visual culture at the university would use those for teaching and research. So we have a really broad collection. Our collection, if you were to line up the boxes, would be about 10 kilometers long. So we do manage a lot of stuff on a wide range of topics. We are open to everyone, and we are free to access. Some people think because we're at the university, you have to be a university person, or you have to have a scholarly research question, or you're writing a book. Anyone can access the archives at Trent, and more than half, well over half of our researchers are coming from community or are visiting us from abroad to use our holdings. So community researchers, if you don't have a Trent University Library card, it's not a problem. We register you and give you a community borrower card. That's something the library's always had, but just recently they've made it free. So that means rather than us registering you just as archives researchers, you get a Trent University Library card, and that also allows you to check out books from the library for free. In our database, which I'll talk about in a minute, all of our collections are given some broad subject headings and place access points. We have more than 80 collections that are about Victoria County that kind of have that access point, and you can easily see that in our database. Some highlights of those 80 are the Victoria County Court records. Those were transferred to us by the county in 1972. And they include 575 bound volumes, as well as 42 boxes of records dating back to 1834 and right up to 1969. And I brought the finding aid for that accession, if anybody's interested in looking at it, but we also have it available online. We actually had someone come in today from Ohio to research family members that settled quite a long time ago in the area, and he was able to dig in and find a multi-page document outlining the estate of his great-great-grandfather, which was really wonderful. Within special collections, we have a collection called the Trent Collection, which includes every book published by a Trent faculty member, but also local history books that support our local historians using our resources. And that includes, of course, those local histories, but also directories, newsletters that are put out by historical societies, genealogical resources like cemetery records. And we also do hold historical newspapers on microfilm. Those are actually kept on the second floor of the Bata Library, and they can be accessed by anyone anytime during the library's opening hours, and we have a good list of those on our website. So in our archives database, you can browse our collections. You can just see an alphabetical list of everything that we have and kind of sort through it that way. You can browse it by the names of the people and the organizations who created and accumulated the collections that we hold. You can browse by subject. So at the collection level, we'll assign very broad subject headings like school and education or medicine and health. And that can be a nice way to kind of browse and engage with what we might have. And then, as I've mentioned, we have place access points by county. So if a good chunk of a collection is about Victoria County, it's going to have that access point. What I mean by that is it's just a clickable link, so you can click on Victoria County and get all the hits, and you can refine your search in other ways as well. Really key is to think about what types of sources might have the information that I'm interested in, who might have created those sources, and then what archives might have them. So that can be another way to kind of navigate our database when the keyword search doesn't give you the hit that you expect. But most importantly, archival research can't be done alone. Even if you try to do as much as you can alone, at some point we have to get the stuff out for you. I think Google makes us think that we can, we're self-sufficient when we're looking for information, and we should be self-sufficient and not ask for help. But when you're doing archival research, just ask for help. Archival staff are always happy to help and available to really help you navigate the complexity that is archives. As Emily said, each archives does things differently as well, so what you encounter in one might be completely different in another. So never hesitate to contact archive staff and say, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I'm hoping to use it for, what might you have that can help me? So for accessing our holdings, similarly, our materials can't be checked out, including those local history books and special collections. They stay put. But if there is a copy in the circulating collection in the library, it could be checked out. This is our reading room where people come to do their research, the Northway Reading Room. It's on the first floor of the Bata Library on Trent University's Simons campus, which is the Peterborough campus. We're open Monday to Friday, 9 to 4. For people that are busy during the day, during the school year on Tuesday nights, we're open until 7:30. We do encourage appointments. We are an open door archive, so drop-ins are okay, but we can help you many times more if you make an appointment beforehand, and we can spend that time trying to find materials to help you. And also, if you can't come visit us, but you see something in our database, like one file or something that you want us to digitize for you, we can do that for a fee. And that's something that people will do if someone's in the UK, right? It's much cheaper for them to just pay us to digitize material than for them to travel to the archives, but we do it for local folks as well. And that could also mean that you've come to the archives and found some things that you'd like us to scan. The other thing you can do when you come visit us is use a phone or another device to take your own images if you want to take something away with you, and that's absolutely free. Thank you very much.
All right. It's the community connection that makes our museum so special, and that's what people want to know about. They want to know about who the people were and how does this object or item relate to that. It's not just that this is their favorite piece of china, it's that they use it for Sunday dinner.
So a lot of what has already been mentioned in terms of what everybody holds is pretty much what we hold. A lot of private records and personal papers from individuals around Victoria County and Kawartha Lakes. We have around 45 to 50 meters of textual records and around 20,000 photographs. And new collections are coming in every single week. So sometimes people come in, ask for something, and then next week someone donates that exact record. So always constantly keep checking the city, us, Trent, and you never know what you can find on a week-to-week or a year-to-year basis. So one of our biggest things that we completed over the last year through a grant from the government was the digitization of the Lindsay Post from 1900 to 1974. The library has the microfilm scans from 1861 all the way up until 1914, and we thought we would fill the gap by continuing past 1914 all the way up until 1974. And all of it is hosted on the Internet Archive, which is a free resource for both us and you, and it's relatively intuitive in how to access it. And another resource we have are the 1881 reprints of the Atlas that was published in 2000. It has many of the cursory information that you would look for, all of the land grant maps from the townships, as well as directories from the 1850s and 1860s. So it's a really good resource for very quick, at-a-glance research for you if you need to access that at any time. And we sell them here or at our building or online at your leisure. So this is our main landing page here. So if you scroll down, you'll see the exhibits that the museum has, but also our history through the Lindsay Post. And this link right here on our main page will bring you over to the Internet Archive main database. And the Lindsay Post ran until 2014, and it has information on every single community, a lot of personal information, personal and private business for every little town, hamlet, village, or township. So it's a very handy resource to use. So when you do get on to the main page here of Kawartha Lakes Museum and Archives, you'll see that there's 1,165 months of information ranging from 1861 to 1974. And we are generally by appointment only, If you do come in off the street, we are open Tuesday through Saturday year-round. Which, if you have if you grab a pamphlet at the back at our table there, it will list all of that and exactly how to request information. Right now, the best thing to do would be to just email me, which my business card is over there, and I can look through our internal database to see if we have anything.
Welcome back to our local history research workshop being held in Bobcaygeon. We've got lots more interesting things to learn this evening. If you're interested in learning more about local history research or the kinds of workshops that we offer at the city, visit our website at www.kawarthalakes.ca. One area that people often forget about that's becoming more and more important as we look at local history are oral histories. So many of our local residents, particularly our older residents who've lived here for a long time, are very knowledgeable, particularly about local families, community events, organizations, and buildings. So many of the stories that our older local residents know, they are not in the books, they are not in the archives, but they were there, so they can tell you where a family lived, what happened at a agricultural fair, those kinds of things that you may not find elsewhere. Generally, I like to say use oral histories as a jumping off point. So people can give you that information and then you can build on it with research from other areas. So your archives, your books, you need to bring those all together to bring a complete story of the topic that you want to explore. There are a lot of other kinds of people records, so we're not going to go into everything today, but I'll just touch on it. So World War I personnel files, if you are interested in anyone who served or had a relative who served in World War I, these are available on Library and Archives Canada. Some of them are missing, and they are digitized and searchable. So use these. They have a lot of information in them. Some of them are 50, 60 pages long and have huge amounts of information on individuals. Letters and diaries, once again, like photos, this is a hit and miss source. Sometimes you have them and sometimes you don't. These are often available in archives or in private collections. Graves are also another great source, just depending on what information is on the grave. It'll often say where people were born, when they were born. Sometimes children are buried with their parents, so definitely don't discount those. Find a Grave online is a great source to try and find graves. It is not the only source, but it's a good place to start. Immigration records, these are generally things that you can find through Family Search or Ancestry. There's other books that have certain genealogies, particularly for Irish Canadians. So if you're interested in people who came here from Ireland in the 19th century, there are a lot of immigration records available online for that particular group of people. And family histories. So there are a lot of people who have their family histories written down, so use them if they're helpful for you. One of the nice things about our local newspapers in the past, a little bit more so than the present, is that they have a lot of day-to-day life information in them. So they will have information about church picnics. They will have information about what council is up to. They will have ads for farms, such as this one in Eldon Township. And they will also have local takes on world events and their local connections. They will also have personal sections where people say, you know, Mrs. Smith from Bobcaygeon went to visit her sister in Toronto. There's a lot of that kind of stuff in newspapers. A lot of our newspapers are digitized, which is really super, through the library, through the Kawartha Lakes Museum and Archives. There's also some other ones around through different digital sources, so you can keyword search them, which is great. I would say that sometimes the keyword searches don't work perfectly. So you'll always want to have a look through again to see what you can find. But definitely the newspapers are a great source, especially if you have a lot of time to dig through stuff. So it does take quite a while to go through newspapers to find that. But there's really interesting information about our communities in them. All right, so now you've done all this research, you've gone to all the archives and looked at all the photos and the documents. Now what do you do? So it really depends what you want to do with your research. So you can create a timeline or a folder. You can use genealogical chart to keep track of family. Definitely keep good records. So when you are looking at sources, keep track of where you found them and what they are, so you don't go back later and be like, oh, I saw this marriage record and I don't know where it is or what year it came from. So make sure that you're keeping those records as you're doing your research, and write your story down. Once you've done all this research, there's no point if it's just going to sit in a drawer. So do something with it, write it down, make a book for yourself, make an article, make a folder, and try and put that information to good use. All right, thanks so much for everybody for coming out this evening. I hope you've learned a lot for your research. If there's anything else that you're interested in or need to know or want to touch base, feel free to reach out to me, and my contact information's on the table, along with all of our handouts. So thanks again and have a great evening.